let's kick it off by talking about this deal and do a little bit of a post-mortem here. From your perspective, where did this deal go wrong? Did you miscalculate?
Thank you, Kriti. It's a pleasure to be back in your show with you. We will have plenty of time to analyze, and we can speculate at this stage about what might have happened. Clearly, the result is not what we expected. It's not the result we wanted, but it's the result that the majority of the shareholders of Sabadell have decided. So we accept it fully, and we move on and continue to look forward to a bright future. Maybe one thing that might have influenced behavior of the retail shareholder might have been the expectation of a second offer in cash, which was, as I told you last time I was with you, uncertain. And I think what has happened demonstrates that it was indeed uncertain. Also, maybe the passive funds might have not tendered as we had expected. But as I was saying, this is all at this stage just hypotheses, and it doesn't really matter much. What matters is the result, the decision by the shareholders of Sabadell. They are the ultimate decision makers. We accept it fully, we move on, and we continue to look ahead.
Carlos, in the last time we spoke, to your point, you also were quite clear that if you couldn't win over the retail shareholder base, at least a shrewd institutional investor base would perhaps see the value of this takeover bid. Now, the Sabadell story is interesting. The retail shareholder base has a long history with Sabadell, but what about the institutional shareholders, some of which you did convert, like the likes of David Martinez, among others? But is there an indication here of what they were reacting to?
Well, as I was saying, it's all at this stage hypotheses that we can make about what might have happened. It doesn't really change the result. So I don't think we should ponder much about the reasons why they did or did not tender. I do believe the institutionals did tender in a large majority, the long-onlys in particular, also the hedge funds and the arbitrageurs, but they weren't of the size that they had been in other deals for the reasons that this took a long time. And maybe the behavior of retail and also the narratives in the press and in the media around what might have happened with the second offer might have influenced also the passives in terms of their expectation of what might happen, yeah. And that might have led to a lower tendering.
Carlos, let's talk about the path forward then for BBVA. One of the key drivers when it comes to BBVA looking at the domestic market in Spain was to perhaps limit or even offset some of the pressure the bank was facing when it comes to their emerging market exposure. Now that Sabadell is off the table, how do you plan on addressing that concern from your shareholders as well as the Spanish government?
Yeah, we have been working over the last few years on many fronts, delivering record results. We have grown our net attributable profit over the past years at a 30% growth rate, annual growth rate over the past 3 years, and including this year, where we continue to grow at a good rate. Presenting record results. We have gained market share in all markets, including in Spain. In Spain in particular, we are growing our market share across the different segments. We're growing our loan book as fast as it has grown in a long, long time. It has grown at 6% annual rate in the last 12 months. And what we have been doing is working on our strategic plan. We approved the strategic plan at the beginning of this year. We have presented very ambitious goals for the next 5 years, the next 4 years, 25 to 28. Those, we are already today the bank with the best growth profile in Europe, with the best profitability in Europe, and the ambitious goals we presented, the 22% return on tangible equity, 15% increase, annual increase in tangible book value, and really the net attributable profit of 48 billion. Those maintain BBVA at the lead of the European banking sector in both growth and profitability. One important aspect of our plan going forward is shareholder distributions. So now the lapsing of this takeover bid over Sabadell takes away all restrictions we had on distributions, and our shareholders will see the immediate benefit with an immediate acceleration of shareholder return of capital to shareholders. through several means. So on October 31st, the day after we present our third quarter results, we will immediately start the 1 billion euro share buyback that was pending. November 7th, we have the dividend payout for the interim dividend. So that two elements amount to 2.8 billion euro. And then we have decided to put ahead another share buyback program, a sizable new share buyback program, which will happen as soon as we receive the approvals from the ECB.
Yeah. And Carlos, that announcement from yesterday that you just outlined, of course, already being well received by the ADRs, BBVA ADRs, I should mention to our global audience, surging in the U.S. session to the tune of about 7%. So likely something we're likely to see mirrored in the European session today. Carlos, that does give the indication, though, that if a lot of these funds are focused now on buybacks and shareholder returns, there are two questions that investors want to know. One, is M&A still on the table, not only for BBVA, but for banks across Europe? And second, what does that mean for your future as the BBVA chairman?
We after this episode, we close this chapter and we move on, and we continue to look ahead, completely focused on executing our strategic plan. It's a plan which is a growth plan entirely based on organic growth and on returning to our shareholders the excess capital above our capital target of 12%. So the actions I just outlined in terms of the immediate share buyback, the dividend, and the new sizable share buyback program are a testament to that strategy, and we will squarely be focused on that, not on M&A. And regarding my continuity, yes, I have been saying throughout this process that irrespective of what happens, I will be heading the bank as long as shareholders and the board want me to be doing so. I think what matters is the results and the performance of the bank. And if we look back, it has been an outstanding return to shareholders ever since I became chairman at the end of 2018. Our shareholders have multiplied their value by 5, which is well ahead of our European peers, which is a 3.3 multiple, or the other Spanish banks, which is also around three times.
Well, Carlos, I hear you. A final question then, just to clarify what I'm hearing. You do intend to stay on then as chairman of BBVA. No resignation in sight, no pressure from the board as it stands?
No, not at all. The board is fully backing the entire management team unanimously. The board has been the one making all decisions throughout this process from the very first decision in a unanimous way also. And as I just said, yes, I will continue. There's no doubt about that.